You're live, man. You're live. You're live.
You're live.
Well, you're still eating lunch.
Yeah, well, but we're live.
That's not going to work because we're going to be hearing you chewing and crinkling paper in the background of the darn thing.
Look here. Look here.
Good night, man. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the 3 of 7 podcast. Whether you're watching live on YouTube or you're joining us on the audio platform, we're thankful for you. Yeah, man. So that ain't gonna work. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Do we need to restart all? Do we need to restart this?
I just joked, man.
You know, look here, boys. I'm trying my best to tolerate Blake moving around here and fiddling with these cameras and, you know, all the stuff that's going on. I'm doing my best. Because, you know, man, I made a post last night, actually. I told you guys, my prayer every single day is to die a little bit more to myself. And you guys are really giving me the opportunity to do that this morning. Praise the Lord, son. You guys are giving me the opportunity to put myself and the way I feel just right to the side. Because let me tell you, everything about what you're doing right now, Chili, is irking the ever-living crap out of me. But you know what? I shouldn't matter so much. Thank you, brother. Praise the Lord. I'm growing today. Old Chad is just dying a little bit more today. And good gosh, that is what needs to happen. We're going to talk about that a little bit on the podcast today. I've been praying about this, and let me tell you, some of the stuff we're going to talk about on the podcast today is going to be a little bit radical for some of you guys that are watching. So if you're not down for some radical stuff, I suggest you to tune out right now and just go and find something else to do that's going to suit your little normal way of thinking. Because we're going to talk about some pretty radical ways of thinking today on the podcast. It hit me last night like a freaking ton, like a 2-ton truck, like a deuce and a half. It hit me. I was sitting in the sauna and it hit me, son. And I'm going to share it with y'all today on the podcast. What's this podcast titled anyways?
The live stream to end all live streams.
I wanted.
Look, you asked me a question and you start talking in the middle of my answer.
I wanted this podcast to be titled "Die or Be Killed." Can you retitle it?
Well, after it's over, we can.
Well, that ain't gonna work for me. Next time you title one of these things, make sure you ask me before you do it. All right?
I'll put you black, son. I'll send you black.
Look. Die or be killed. That's what I wanted it to be called.
I'll put this camera on me if
look.
you want to keep it up.
No, look, man. I changed the color of my light back here. How do I look, YouTube?
It ain't doing that. It's too high. But
y'all can't see this. I changed the color to match my bottle of HOIST that I got here on my desk today. I've got the peach mango. Look at that. You can't even tell what color that bottle is because it's the same color as the light. Look at that. Look. The bottle just looks like it's white because it's the same color as the light. This thing's orange. This is an orange one, peach mango right here. You guys know, man, HOIST has been an amazing partner. Look at here, man. I ran 250 miles, drank this stuff for 4 days. Did I not, Chili?
Oh, yeah.
You was putting it in my bottles. I drank HOIST for 4 days. Never had a stomach issue, never had a single cramp.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sick of you guys that cramp.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
If you cramp, look, man, cramping is not even real. I'm sick of you guys that freaking cramp. I ain't never cramped. If you're cramping up, you're probably just drinking too much soda pop and
You full of cramp.
yeah, if you cramping, you're full of cramp, man. You know, when I see somebody cramp, I'm just like, they're faking it, man. Your mind's just making it up.
Get on with that cramp.
Your mind's just making it up. I done ran 250 miles, didn't even cramp. You know what? That's what HOIST is all about. It hydrates you better than water. I don't care. Look, this light is so the same color as this bottle, I can't even read the bottle. I can't even. Is that not crazy? That's crazy.
You got that peach color, peach mango
Let
hue
me
on
go
that
over
light.
here. Let me go over here so I can read this. This HOIST has got calcium, potassium, and magnesium in it. Chili, what's so important about that?
That's the full spectrum of electrolytes, man. If something just has sodium in it and it's underdosed with the rest of your electrolyte profile, it's not matched to what you actually lose and need to replace, then it ain't no good, man.
Okay, I've got sodium in this too, 420 milligrams.
that's part of it. But
And
most
I've got-
people will just fall short. They just, sodium, that's it.
I got 70 calories in here. Look, made in
Where?
America, drinkhoist.com, battlefield tested, warfighter approved. This is good stuff, man. Let me tell you what, go get you some, drinkhoist.com. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. I promise you, if you're full of cramp, this is going to put an end to it, right? Because people like me are just laughing at you because you're cramping up all the time. Okay. Thank you, HOIST. Made in America, by the way, no preservatives. That's right. Welcome to the 307 podcast. Pope Chili. We have a new team member here at 307 Project. What are you deeming him as? What is his official position within the body? Because we have got
Right.
the Cardinal.
Yep.
Lord C coming at you right here. Your main host, the Cardinal, Chad Rite. We've got Pope Chili up in the house, coming at you with the truth from week to week, letting the smoke rise out of the Vatican. Pope Chili. And we got the man behind the scenes. He brings it all together. He'll answer your daggone email. He brings these cameras up and brings power to the earth. He comes back every week after week. Bishop Blake Wright, count the money. Chili is the only one with the power to get the authority to give people the title.
Well,
The Pope will deem you.
y'all want to know who's sitting to my left here?
He hadn't been seen on camera yet.
Well, he's about to be. Go ahead and switch that, Blake. Y'all looking at Priest Cornbread.
Holy smokes! We got the priest up in the house coming at you off the gravel crusher. Coming in the house with the red beard and the white collar. Priest
Oh, man.
Get your face out the house, son. We got a full house up in here for y'all
Cut a
today.
promo.
There you go.
Got a full house up in here for you today.
That.
Welcome to the 307 podcast, Cornbread.
What's up?
Not much, man. We're happy to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Tell the people a little bit about yourself, Cornbread. If y'all are OGs, y'all know who Cornbread is. You know, if y'all are OGs, y'all saw Cornbread feeding me HOIST for 24 hours almost a year ago next month. on the 24-hour treadmill race where we were able to, praise the Lord, raise $250,000, count the money, Bishop, to give to a charity, VIP Neuro Rehab, in 24 hours because of you guys. We were able to raise $250,000 last year to help people with spinal cord injuries who need treatment beyond what their insurance companies will pay. You guys know David Charbonnet was up in the house with us there. He was running VIP Neuro Rehab at that time. Cornbread was my aid station man. Chili had Jeff Cochran in his corner. Of course, me and Corn dominated the 24-hour treadmill race. We watched Chili run back and forth to the toilet and crap his brains out about 35 times. Definitely more than one an hour. So if you're an OG, you know Cornbread. But Cornbread, tell the people what's up with you, man.
Hey, I just turned 47 Sunday.
Dang.
47.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, man. Been family friends of y'all since you wasn't even driving yet.
That's right. Tell the people about our first coon hunt.
Very first coon hunt.
Tell the people about that.
Well, you got to sort of set it up a little bit. So we was out on a construction site, and I was up atop a hill watching Chad and his daddy work.
Surveying.
And Chad come bebopping up through there, had him on some overalls, and he had like 3 or 4 scraggly red hairs. Walked up, and he said, "Hey, man, I heard you coon hunt." And I said, "Yeah, I coon hunt." So we got to talking back and forth and set up a coon hunt. But that's how we first originally met. And I thought, this is just a miniature version of Shaggy off Scooby-Doo. You know what I mean? We set up that coon hunt, and we went out one night, and we took 2 of my dogs on another construction site. We'd been working and got permission to hunt.
Aiken Road, wasn't it?
Yeah, Paul Aiken Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we turned them dogs loose, and the interesting thing about it is I'd never seen this happen. We turned 2 hounds loose, and they both started from the same point, struck, and was running a dead circle toward each other. So, I went to pitching a fit. One of them's running the track backwards, acting stupid, acting crazy. Well, they both met at the same tree. We walked in there to the tree, and Chad, now, scrawny little shaggy dude, right? Ain't even old enough to have a pistol on his person. I didn't even know he had the pistol.
You don't know I got a pistol till it's too late.
We get to the tree, shine up there, and hush almighty, we got 2 coons. So the dogs was running it right. Mm-hmm. Each one of them was running a separate coon. And he said, I don't even remember what it was. Was it a 38?
It was a 38 special, snub nose, Smith & Wesson revolver.
He did the same little, hey, man, when he walked up to me. He said, hey, man, I got this pistol here you want to shoot him out with. And he handed me that pistol, and I grabbed it, and I looked. I said, well, this thing's got a dang scorpion embroidered on it. And that scorpion's little claw went, I said, this is a dang real scorpion. Handed it back. I said, man, you got to watch what you handed people.
He is not kidding, dude.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
It's literally unbelievable. Yeah. I can picture it in my mind right now.
Yeah.
I hand, no crap, just exactly what he said. I'm holding this snub-nosed revolver, and I go to hand it to him, and no crap, there is a scorpion on the frame of the revolver that looks like it has been engraved on the frame of the revolver.
Alive.
No
cramp.
No cramp.
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, have you ever even heard? Because
That'll set you up, boy.
I pulled
It'll set you up.
I can't figure out how it got on there because I pulled that thing out of my pocket.
That's what I was saying. You didn't have it in a holster or nothing. It was slap in your pocket.
That was that pet scorpion he
That's
had.
right.
It was the wildest thing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Corn's had some times, buddy. I'm telling you. Corn took me under his wing when after that hunt, me and Corn became friends. And he would drive, well, at that point, good night. I probably lived an hour from you.
Yeah.
Because you lived way up off of.
I lived in Silver Creek.
Yeah.
Just south of here.
And I lived plumb down in wherever that was off of one of them neighborhood roads. And you would drive all the way, because I didn't have my license, an hour to pick me up. Then we would have to drive all the way back out toward wherever we were hunting, but it wasn't no hunting. We wasn't ever hunting around my house.
Yeah.
And, one of the things I remember is it was just a few days after I had gotten my driver's license. And I had my old 79 Ford F-250. We called it brown sugar, right? And you were living in that house over there off of 113.
Yeah.
Up on the hill. That was a drafty house, son.
It was. You know that thing, the floor fell in on it, and we was fixing the floor, and we found out it had cross ties for the main beam of the floor.
Good night.
Yeah.
That was a wild place. Country, son.
Yeah.
Well, so I had my driver's license, so wherever we had went, it was daytime. I don't know where we went, but I had convinced you to just ride with me. We was going to ride in brown sugar, and we got done doing whatever we were doing, and then we were going back to your house, and I was on 113, and I don't know if I was getting ready to turn into your driveway or getting ready to turn onto 113, but I didn't look, and I turned onto this highway, man, and there's traffic just bearing down on us, about to just slam us right in the side of the truck. And I remember you being like, dang, but that ain't gonna work, son.
Right.
That ain't gonna work.
Well, that's when that car had the blinker on.
Oh, yeah.
And you looked, and you took off, except the car didn't turn.
Yep.
And I said, "Now that blinker ain't what's gonna kill you. It's that 4,000-pound car coming at you.
Yeah.
Is what's gonna kill you."
We've had some times, man. We used to get back from hunts, late night coon hunts, man. Corn would ease up in the house, and he had a dog named Chump. What was Chump? A mutt?
Yeah, he was a mutt.
Yeah, just an old mutt. Corn would we'd walk in the front door. First thing he would do is kick his boots off, sit down on the couch, and that dog Chump would come and lick his feet for an hour straight. The dog would just steady lick his feet.
Yeah,
that's what he
pedicure,
did.
Son.
That's what he did of an evening. Oh, Chump.
Clean, man.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you get it cleaned.
Yeah. I mean, so we got cornbread, the priest cornbread up in the house, son. Blake, what's happening, man?
I mean, what do you mean? Just over
You
here
ain't said
monitoring
nothing.
these comments and
You ain't said nothing.
all that business. Well, I mean, if we're telling stories, I remember that time that bounty hunter rolled up at Corn's house.
Oh, I remember
Over
that.
there.
I forgot all about that.
And called and said there's a bounty. Hold on, let me put the camera on me.
Oh, what about
And
that?
called said there's a bounty hunter over here looking for somebody. Me, Dad, Corn, I don't know who.
I'd have
all.
said, looking for who?
We jumped out of the truck with guns. We surrounded that bounty hunter. Boy, he liked to cramp his pants.
I remember that. Yeah,
It wasn't a dog, was it?
Huh?
It wasn't a dog, was it?
No, dog.
This was a rough stock bounty hunter right here. This was the real deal Polk County bounty hunter. Yeah.
Dude, I didn't even know you could be a real bounty hunter.
Yeah, man.
That's a thing?
Yeah, you go find criminals in their hotel rooms in the middle of the night and dive at them and karate chop them in the neck. That's what Dog the Bounty Hunter does.
Can you? Well, yeah, but I mean, I always thought the crap that Dog did was fake. I mean,
No, dog was the real deal.
was he for real?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and even if he wasn't, that crap goes on.
People do that cramp all the time.
Can you imagine what a daggone YouTube channel that would make? If me and Chili were bounty hunters?
They made a TV show out of Dog, man, so yeah, it'd be a good one.
Yeah, but Dog ain't got nothing on us, son. Can you imagine Chili getting humped up on somebody, son?
I'd go dive at their feet and just hold around their ankles, and you could just karate chop them in the neck till they came up.
Dog and them couldn't even tote real guns.
That's what I thought.
Because he was a felon. Dog was a felon, so they had to tote pepper ball guns.
Dang.
Yeah. If y'all do it, y'all got to tote pepper ball guns.
Holy smokes, man. All right. Well, that's your introduction to cornbread. You can freaking like it or lump it. I don't give a crap what you think.
What does that mean?
Don't give a cramp.
Welcome back to the 3 of 7 podcast. Now, okay, let's get into the podcast here. I mean, I don't know. Y'all don't ever show up with any topics that you want to discuss, so I just assume it's my job to.
Oh, I can talk.
have
I got a
something to
topic.
discuss.
You want to talk? You want me to talk about a topic?
Well, you go ahead and you can mention it.
I mean, no.
No, see, if you did, it would throw off of what he wants to talk about.
Exactly.
And he'd go, well, no.
He's like, everybody's tired of hearing what I got to say, but I'm just going to say y'all don't have no topics. Then you do, and he says, you mention it for a second while I get my thoughts together, but then I'm going to talk about what I want to.
I want to talk about freedom from self.
Well, that's what's on my mind.
Oh.
That's what's on my mind to talk about today. We've discussed this many times on the podcast before. It's just so... It's just... I don't know. It's a hard thing to even understand. And it's a hard thing to accept, too. Freedom from self. But it's something that definitely is on my heart. And I made a post last night, and I said it's taken me 36 years to realize that I need to be set free from myself. See, I've always thought that, like, I could be tough enough, that, like, I could somehow just make it through and do what needed to be done and bear the burden that this life puts on all of us. Somehow, some way, over time, I will grow tough enough to bear that on my own. It's taken me 36 years, though, to realize that that's not true. And it has literally become my prayer every day, is to become a little less me, right? Now, this is what has really jacked me up, man. This is what's really jacked me up. So this whole idea originates from basically something that Jesus Christ said. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. That is a radical thing to say. Is it not? I mean, that's just it's crazy. Like, but you can read, I've probably read that 100 times and just never really taken it seriously. But when you take that seriously, it is completely countercultural. It is extremely radical. Because culturally, and I don't think this is unique to our time in place, but if we look at what we're exposed to or the messages that we are exposed to into, like, right now, most of the messaging is telling us what I think I have always believed, that I can, through hard work, through pushing myself by way of time and effort, that I can callous myself to the point that nobody and nothing can hurt me. Like, it sounds great. I mean, as a matter of fact, one of the best-selling books of our time is titled "Can't Hurt Me," right? And it sounds great. And I think a lot of the things, I haven't read that book, but it sounds great to us because, I mean, that gives us hope. We can callous ourselves. We can become strong enough to to bear the burden of life and to bear any reproach or insult. And to kind of get to the point that we can stand alone. You can stand alone. It sounds really, really wonderful. But the thing about it is, as I look at myself, and here's what rocked me, man. This is what rocked me. As I look at myself, and I look at also other people who claim this stance of, I'm tough enough, you can't hurt me, I see those people trying to defend themselves. And I also see myself when someone says something about me, or somebody questions something about me, or something that I said, or something that I did. When someone questions me, questions my honor, questions my integrity, questions my message, questions anything, guess what the first thing I want to do is? Defend myself. I want to defend myself. And this rocked me, man, because I came to this realization last night that if you are on a journey, if you are truly seeking to die to yourself and live for Christ, you have no right to defend yourself. That don't sound good. If you put yourself to death, what are you defending? There's nothing to defend. So this desire in me, whether it's a social media comment, whether it's a face-to-face conversation, whether it's no matter what the interaction is, this desire in me to defend my honor, to defend my integrity, to defend my story, to defend something that I believe in. And I'm not talking about the gospel. I'm just talking about some stance that I have. I know, man, this is freaking radical, dude. But that desire to defend myself is showing, and it just highlights the fact that I've got a long ways to go before I put myself to death. I came to this realization by way of reading in the book of John. And as I was reading in the book of John in chapters 18 and 19, and Jesus Christ was being basically interrogated by Pilate, I kept wondering, why is Jesus answering Pilate the way he's answering him? It's really confusing because Pilate asks Jesus, are you the king of the Jews? And Jesus just says, if you say so. He keeps asking him these questions. Pilate says, your own nation and the chief priests have delivered you unto me. What have you done? And Jesus just goes into this weird thing where he says, my kingdom's not even of this world. It's like, he asks him again. Pilate says, do you not know that I have the power to crucify you or the power to release you? And Jesus just says, you don't have any power against me at all, except it's given to you. In this in this interrogation that Jesus Christ endures against Pilate, the judge who is going to turn him over to be crucified, he never once defends himself. That's wild, ain't it? Like, there's so many other things Jesus could have said. Jesus could have easily made a case for himself. He could have said, hey, Pilate, yeah, I am the Son of God. I am the King of the Jews. Look at all the miracles I've done. Look at my life. I haven't done anything. What are you, Jesus? Like, he had all sorts of things and evidence that he could have brought to bear in that conversation with his accuser to defend himself, but he didn't do it.
Well, he couldn't have. He couldn't have because while he was innocent, he was bearing us on him, and we are not innocent. So he was actually, like, essentially he was not on trial there. Everybody was, and he was the placeholder.
Yeah.
So he could. I mean, you're saying he could have made a case for himself, but in the reality of what was going on, he couldn't have because of our failure to provide a defense. Like, we can't.
Yeah.
And he was
he knew what had to happen,
and he was representing us.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Exactly. You're exactly right.
I mean, if you're confused about why he didn't, it's because
No, I'm not confused
Well, I mean,
at all.
somebody,
I'm
like-
just pointing that out, that he didn't defend himself. And why is it my nature when somebody brings an accusation against me to defend myself? Why don't I just respond like Jesus responded? Why don't I say, well, yeah, man, if you say so. yeah, man, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I should have said that differently. I don't know. Like, I'm not defending myself because myself is dead. I have nothing to defend. And that was Jesus's stance. Myself is dead. I know what needs to be done. Jesus was really the only human being who ever walked the face of the earth who without a doubt had this ideal of dying to self down completely pat. He was the only human who ever walked the face of the earth whose entire identity was not in his human form, but was in God, the creator of the universe, his Father. That was where his entire identity resided. And he cared not about his human form or his own needs, his own wants, his own angers, his own frustrations. What did he do? He did the work of the Father. That was it. And so when you relinquish your human identity completely, and you identify with your Creator, and your entire existence resides in the relationship with your Creator. Your entire purpose resides there. Every response is responding in a way that would glorify the Creator of the universe. If you can relinquish that, then there is nothing to defend aside from your faith.
Well, go ahead.
There's a part of that is that's pride, because Jesus wasn't guilty of any of the things they were accusing him. So he could say, yeah, if that's what you want to say, that's fine. But when someone accuses us of those things, we say, well, maybe that's true, but let me tell you why I did it. And there's a sense of pride there. So Jesus didn't have that. So that death to self, you're still going to be guilty of what people are probably telling you, but you have to lose the sense of pride that you have and be able to just say, yeah, you're right. I did do that. You're right in saying that.
Man, 100%.
Well, and I was going to ask, give an example of what you're talking about defending yourself. Defend yourself from what exactly? I mean, like you're talking about when somebody says, I mean.
Well, yeah. I mean, for instance, because for me personally, this is the way it works. Because there are literally probably tens of thousands of hours of content out there of me saying things. What people will do, and I'm talking about people that I know. Like, I'm not just talking about people commenting on the freaking interwebs. Like, I'm talking about people I know will see a 30-second clip of something that I said, and they have zero context of what I was actually talking about and why I said the thing I said, and then they will confront me in an accusatory way of like, why did you say that?
Yeah.
That's not true. Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing that I want to do is say, oh, well, let me defend that. Let me, you know, and it's just like, the point I'm trying to get to is to just be like, if you say so.
The point you need to get to is forgive them, Lord, for they don't know what they're doing. Like the Romans there crucifying Jesus on the cross, then that's what he said to them, like, forgive them, they don't know what they're doing. And people that are saying that to you.
Well, I think it's sort of like what me and you was talking about yesterday, Chili, with desire. And it's a desire that I really can't even explain, but where is your desire at to begin with? So when you get poked or razzed up by somebody, what is the solution you're looking for? What is the desire flatlined? Even so, if it's driven by emotion, you know it's going to get jacked up 100%.
Yeah.
You look, can I defend myself against this person? Absolutely. I can articulate. I can pitch a fit. I can razz them up just as I'm smarter than them.
Yep.
All the way down to something as simple. Can I whoop them physically? You know, if that gets razzed up in you, without that straight up desire, like I said, that I don't even really know how to explain to begin with, I think it's easy for that to ramp up and your ego just go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Blake said, pride, you know, when the accusations don't matter. I mean, it's when you care more about your reputation than your character, that old saying. Like, you know, when you really want to defend yourself like that because someone says something about you that's true or not, it's because you're more worried about how people perceive you and see you than how you actually are.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to like tell someone, oh, just stop being that way. But that's a shift that needs to happen as well.
But all the way to when you first started the conversation, being calloused, doing it on your own, I think affects all that as well. Because I mean, in the end, if you're just hardcore and I'm ready to do whatever by myself, you're gonna rub the Jesus out of it.
Yeah.
And in the long run, it's going to affect your relationship with your Savior, and or may cost the non-believers their total salvation. Doing it on your own.
Yeah, it's just it's the ideal though that you can do it on your own though is or to just bear so and what I'm talking about specifically here is bearing the reproach of the world against you. All right, people are going to reproach you. They're going to offend you. They're going to attack you. The world is going to do that to you, okay? Whether you're a social media superstar or you're just somebody that interacts with the people in your community, that's just the way people treat people. But the idea that you can callous yourself to the point that you can bear that in yourself, I believe is a false narrative. I don't even believe that's a possibility. If there is still some of you that exists, I can get to it. And I can flare something up. I can stoke something within you that's going to push you to make a defense of that little bit of yourself that's still left. And Christ was an example. Christ set the example for us of what it looked like when somebody who has completely died to themselves responds to a reproach. And he did that not only in this interview or in the accusations that Pilate and the Jews brought against him, but he did it all the way to the cross. The interesting thing about Jesus Christ is that he literally could have stopped it all at any point. He didn't. God didn't have to provide atonement for us. It was simply because he wanted to. It was part of his plan all along. And he still bared every single reproach, never made a defense for his own human person, and went to the cross and allowed himself to be crucified beside wicked men and by wicked men. And took it to the point, as Blake mentioned, to pray for them in the midst of that. It's unbelievable. It is the ultimate existence to aspire to. Not let me callous my mind, not let me get just so hardened that's impossible. Stop believing you can do that. You can't do it.
But also, we have to be careful here and not say, so while we can't do those things to callous ourselves to be against that, we also can't get to the point that we die to ourselves on our own. So we can't get hung up like we talked, in the last couple podcasts, I think, about this isn't something that you can just go do. You can't say, all right, I feel this reproach, now I have to do this. You get to the point where you love the Lord so much that is a response to people reproaching you. And this is summed up perfectly in Galatians 2, it's 19 through 21. It says, "For I through the law died to the law that I might live to God." So that's 19. So he's saying, for through the law I died to the law that I might live to God. I can't live to both. I can't live to the law and to God. So I can't fight the reproach from these people in our situation and also live for God. He says, "I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ lives within me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not set aside the grace of God, for if righteousness came through the law, then Christ died in vain." And so it's not I who live, but Christ who lives through me. And he says, now I live in the flesh, but I live in the flesh by the faith in the Son of God. So you get to the point where you love God, you love Jesus so much that you're living your life in the flesh to the point that it's just, you hear people say it's like a vessel, but that's really it. It's just the medium, it's just the vessel, the conduit, whatever, to get through whatever it is that you're going through. And so I think that sums it up great, that it's not I who live, but Christ that lives within me. And you die to the law because it's one or the other. They're talking about the law and fulfilling all of these things. And I use that scripture because we could say, all right, now we really need to not let these people that reproach us get to us, and we need to respond in this way. But then it can become legalistic, and you can say, that's something that I want to do. But you get to the point that you love God so much that is what happens. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that I agree with you. So the progress in this thing that we're discussing here, when Jesus says, those who lose their life or try to keep their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will gain it. The progress in this arena is only made by way of the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I can't. I've tried to do it. I've tried to do it. I've tried to say, you know what? The attacks that I get aren't unique to me. I've tried to relate it. Okay, other people get attacked the same way I do, so I shouldn't worry about it. I've tried to say, oh, you know, I should just not let this bother me. That don't freaking work, man. And I don't care how hard you get. Let me tell you what. I've been triple to the top, max freaking hardened in my life. I'm freaking harder than you. Trust me. It don't mean jack squat. I'm just telling you, man, we live in the literal upside down. The longer I live, the more I realize every single thing that the world is telling us about how we should live, how we should think, how we should act, every single thing. If you want to know what's true, you can literally read what the culture is telling you to do and then think, what is the exact opposite of that? And that will be the actual way to do it. It's crazy. We live in the upside down. Now, we see this, the more that I study Scripture, the more that this is what tells me we live in the upside down. Because everything that God's Word tells me is the exact opposite of what culture is telling me. I mean, polar opposite. And this is the only thing that is true. You know, Blake's been working on these series of books called Nuff Said. It's my cumulative writing over the last few years. And it really, even there's some conflict in my mind about even releasing those, because anything that I ever write and publish is going to have to be prefaced with the fact that you cannot take the things that I have written as truth unless they are in alignment with God's Word. Anything else that I have written, anything else that I have said, any other opinion that I've stated, you cannot take it as truth. So you got to filter through stuff. And this is the filter. This is the only truth that exists.
Yeah, you can't. And, you know, for you and for other people, you can get to the point that you say, I don't want to publish these books, or I don't want to, maybe a pastor says, I don't want to preach this sermon. I don't want to do these things because it could be taken wrong, or someone might take this. I don't want to put out a YouTube video because it might take somebody's time that they could be doing something better. And so good people can't not do the things they know are right, because it could be either taken out of context or it could be misconstrued, because that's your life, right? So one individual entry of the book, definitely don't take it for truth, but you can't omit that from the book, because that is your overarching story, and so it does show God's hand in your life when someone reads the first ever entry to that book to the last one, and they see the progression of your life throughout there. They see that humans aren't perfect. They're reminded, maybe somebody they look up to and admire. Oh man, I can't believe Chad used to think like this. And part of this just goes right back around to what we circled to. People's gonna say, oh gosh, I ain't following Chad no more. Look at what he wrote, And if they do, so be it. Who cares, But you got to put yourself out there with a good heart, and you also have to do your homework and to put the right thing, what out there. But you can't not do something because you think it might be misconstrued or it might lead someone astray. Now, don't go, toting a 6-pack of beer into the church. Obviously, those things are dumb. But if you got a good idea and you think it might help some people, but you think, somebody might, it could lead one person astray if they look at it you still got to do it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This is just, it's something that I think, it is something that I think about. I've always desired to be able to chronologically go through and tell my whole story. But the interesting thing is, as the Holy Spirit's kind of just revealing things through Scripture, and I'm praying and seeking more to die to myself. I'm like, really, the story that I should be telling is the story of the person who is dead.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your story.
Yeah. But think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you would write it in a different light, right?
Think about the freedom in that. That's why this whole concept is one of the reasons it's so important that we seek this is because it is the ultimate freedom and liberty. Think about the freedom of that. I'm going to tell you a story of a man who's now dead.
Yeah.
I don't know if that impacts any of the rest of y'all the way it impacts me, but maybe it's because your story don't suck as bad as my story sucks. Maybe for all y'all that got a nice fluffy story and you've had a great life and everything's went well for you, that's good. Maybe this statement don't mean jack squat to you. But it means something to me. Let me tell you a story about this person who's now been crucified with Christ. I don't know, man.
Yeah, the people that think their life has been nice and fluffy is not. They're just either the Holy Spirit hasn't revealed to them their shortcomings, or maybe they're complacent, or they're not being honest with themselves. But when you do realize what it is that you've done in life after meeting Jesus, it's hard to get out from under the burden of that. They call the difference in condemnation and conviction. And it's hard to get out from under all that you've done and even feel like you could be used or like you're worthy.
While there's still some of you left.
Yeah. Yeah, while you still have, breath in your lungs. And you have to get out from under. You've used the analogy of the rock, like you got a sack of rocks on your shoulder, and everything you've done in your life is just a rock added to that sack, right? And you just keep adding and you add. And when you meet Jesus, you don't realize you've got all those rocks in the sack until you meet Jesus and you say, oh, man. And he comes up behind you and slits the bottom of that sack, and all the rocks fall to the ground, and you just left there with an empty sack. And you say, man, I was toting a lot of stuff. But now I don't have to tote it anymore.
Yeah.
And then a lot of us continue on, and we start putting them rocks back in there. We've stitched up the cut in the bottom, and we start throwing some more rocks back in there, just willingly.
Well, I agree, but I mean, in reality, I have accepted Christ. I love Jesus, and I believe in the atonement by way of His shed blood on the cross. But I still carry the burden of the bull crap of my life, even though I know I've been forgiven for it. I know that I'm washed whiter than snow, but I still carry around the burden of the bull crap in my life because I'm clinging to myself. There's still so much of myself that I cling to that I just won't let go.
Well, that's because of those times when you was even unknowingly callousing yourself, doing it on your own. It don't matter how much grit you got. If you're doing it on your own, you're always going to leave something on the table, spiritually, physically, and mentally. It don't matter how much grit you got. If you're not spiritually fit, if you're not loving God, staying in the Word, staying around like-minded people, you're going to leave something on the table. If you got all this grit and you climbing a mountain and you're fat as a hog, you're not going to do as good as you possibly could. All the way down to your mental aspect. If you're not doing the things you're supposed to be, healthy diet, so on and so forth, exercise, blah blah blee blee. Next thing you know, you're not dealing with stuff in your head and you're down in alcohol constantly. Grit combined with nothing else is worth nothing.
Yep, man, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah,
I agree with that 100%.
Because it's just you and your grit.
Yep. Well, YouTube, I know this isn't what you wanted to hear today. I'm sorry I had to talk about this to you guys today. I understand you don't like it.
Go ahead, defend it.
And I understand that I understand why you don't like it. Because the part of me that I'm still clinging to don't like it either. That's what I gotta, that is what I want the Holy Spirit to crush in me.
Well, I think the word you shared at the beginning is, radical. That's a very appropriate word when it comes to Jesus and the way He lived and the way that we should live. And it's opposite of the world because the world is inclusive. Accepting everything. They're inclusive of everything. And Jesus is radical. And Christianity is exclusive. I mean, it is for everybody, but you got, there's a lot of things in there it says you don't need to be doing, right? And I think that's just I've thought about this, is that it seems like when I grew up that maybe it's just my perception, but it seemed like people used to resist or kind of fight against their evil temptations or tendencies or whatever. And now it's like everything is just like, oh, well, you lusting after these women, that's all right because you're a man. That's just the way you were wired. And, maybe try not to do it, but that's just how you were. That's how you were wired. Or, maybe you tell a little lie because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Someone asks you something, you don't tell them the truth because it might hurt their feelings. And they say, oh, that's okay because you don't want to hurt people's feelings. And so everything has just been justified and given excuses and accepted. And we just gotten so far away from being radical and doing what the Bible says to do, regardless of how it makes people. The biggest thing is how it makes people feel. That's the problem, is people are concerned with the feelings.
My problem is, Blake, like you talk about doing what the Bible tells you to do. Like, I can understand all of the tangible things, like you said, like don't lust, don't covet, don't be greedy. Like, I can understand all of those things, right? And it's not that those things aren't important, but it's almost like they're not important. The things, it's interesting because there is so much in God's word, and there is so much in the example that Christ set for us that's recorded in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, that we should do that we don't even understand it's telling us to do.
Yeah.
And so that's the big revelation that I'm having here as I'm reading John, and I'm seeing Christ not defending himself. Like that. But those are like the deep things that need to be done that actually produce the life to where you have you can do the other things just fall into place. It's almost like these deep things have been right in front of my face about the nature of God and the nature of Jesus Christ, and I'm supposed to. I am a vessel and an ambassador for Christ. I'm a representative of Christ. That means I need to be like Christ, but I can't even see these things. How many times have I read the book of John and I've never realized the importance of the fact that Christ wouldn't even defend himself? Like those are hard things for me to see. It's like there's so much when I read this that I just don't see, man.
It's so funny hearing you do this, because I feel like ever since I knew you, I realized that this struggle was probably partially a struggle of just like you say, the defense and caring too much about what other people think. You know, I mean, that's been a long waged battle. And hearing you say what you just said, I mean, it's funny for me to sit back and listen. Like Blake has said it multiple times on this podcast and other podcasts about these things are a natural byproduct of loving God.
Yeah.
And then the way you just said it was like, you said it in this roundabout way. And like Blake has simplified that like 4 or 5 times, but you're describing how like you still can't. It's just interesting. And I'm not saying I'm like, oh, I've got it figured out and I'm watching you not, but I'm just saying, like, that is the answer.
This is something that comes by revelation of God. I mean, it's interesting that you're kind of starting to get this, because the last, I would say, maybe month and a half, 2 months, I have really gotten this. And so it's just interesting when you kind of you're doing life and living with these people, and one person kind of gets this thing. And we did talk about it on the podcast, but other than that, it's not like I'm trying to get Chad to get this. But then God begins to reveal the same thing to him, and you're just one day, you're just like, man,
I've been missing this.
Now this makes sense. Now I can read the Bible in a different light. And so the things I'm saying about the acceptance of the world and things, I'm not saying you need to do those things so that anything can happen. I'm saying that when you start to have that, because when you love God, that should be the byproduct. But you know what? You're not going to always love God the most that you have in your life. There's going to be times where you get sidetracked by, desires and wants, and then you're going to kind of just begin to gradually slip away, and the devil gets his way in. And what does somebody say? That's all right, Corn. I know you. I seen you look at that girl, but that's all right, man. You're just a man. Just try to do better. I say, no, man. It's not all right that you did that. The Bible tells us not to make any provision for the flesh, not to give any foothold to the devil, and that's exactly what you're doing by doing that. So don't do it again. And he's going to say, you're right, man. I need to get back on track and love the Lord. And so that's how we need to treat those things, and not just accept it and make provision for the flesh by telling people that. So it's a part of us as followers of Christ, reminding each other of that, not making provision for the flesh, so that we're able to get back in alignment and focus on the love of God, so that we live our life that way.
I could not know this by hearing you say it.
No.
It just don't register. Just don't register.
Do you think death to self, in the terms that we're talking about it, is often talked about in these terms with reference to the gospel? Because when people say the gospel, it seems like what they mean is believe in Jesus. Well, it's like, believe in Jesus what? I mean, he said, like, why would you believe? I mean, the whole reason you need to believe in Jesus is because you have to die to yourself. There's something wrong.
Yep.
So it's like, if that doesn't happen, then what do you say you believe in Jesus but haven't died to yourself? Well, then what do you believe in him for?
Oh, man.
Well, you believe that he did what?
Yeah.
I mean, you're still there. So what did he do? I mean, like, you believe that he saved you from what?
You say Jesus died for you, and you say, "What he died? Why'd he die for me? I didn't need that."
I mean, it's like, what did he die for you for? I mean, you're still here. Like, the whole point is Jesus. Like, it's an imagery. I mean, he had to die and be resurrected. You have to die to yourself to be a new creation. If that doesn't happen, the transformation that needs to take place didn't take place.
Well, I've always said you have to recognize your need for Jesus before.
And why would you need Jesus?
Why do I need him?
I mean, why does anybody? Because whatever this is not sufficient.
Right.
It's not enough. It's not enough. It's
Yeah.
take me, but
why would it need to? If it's sufficient, if it's not sufficient, then does it need to die? I mean, if it was sufficient, it wouldn't need to die.
Right.
But it isn't.
Yeah.
Clearly. I mean, almost anybody would say that.
Yeah, that's the broad thing, is that you are not enough. That's why you need Jesus, and that is manifested in your life. And I mean, it could be anyway. It could be, in my case, just dealing with so much just crazy anxiety and stress that it's overbearing, and you realize, I'm not enough to deal with this. And then you find Jesus, and he shows where else you're also not enough. But there's usually one peak or pinnacle that hits, and you say, son, doctors can't help me, my parents can't help me, my family can't help me. There's got to be, I can't do this. And then you say, there's something bigger than us out here. And what is that?
And there's so many contradictions in not only what people speak, but also what they think and what they unknowingly think about the state of things and their own nature, and then the way that the world is. And like, I don't have all the answers, but I sure do ask a lot of questions, and that's why I advocate for asking questions. Why do I mean, I think, okay, you ask yourself, am I enough as a human being on my own? Am I enough? A lot of people would say no. And then if you ask somebody, do you need to die to yourself? They'd go, what? What are you talking? Well,
Yeah.
Jesus died for me. Well, yeah, but like, do you need to die for yourself? You just said you're not enough. That's an easy answer. Yes. Like, you have to, ask yourself those things, or else you'll never figure it out. And that's part of seeking. That I always say, I don't know how you change this thing. Like, it's Chad or whoever out there, probably everybody, or that's what Blake always says, everybody, just to different degrees, cares too much what other people think. Well, I've always said, I don't know how you change things like that about yourself. I don't know how you have this one desire and then you just say, I'm not going to have that no more. But I don't think you can do that. I think the way that is eventually freed from you, if it's ever going to be freed from you, is you seek God. And then seeking God will produce the love of God that Blake is talking about.
Yep.
That does that then the thing you want happens as a byproduct of that.
Yeah, there's something there with the difference in understanding and believing. Like, you would say, well, I understand kind of that Jesus died for people, and that I understand that people say he died for me, but you probably don't believe it at that point until you recognize that you need it. And, Chad said, well, I can understand these things that the Bible's saying, but I don't get that just doing those things is not doing anything. And it's like, so there's a difference there in understanding what's going on and actually believing it. And maybe you could even say taking it on or receiving it.
For sure. Cause I struggle with belief as much as anybody, but like, there's a clear delineation between believing something and having a grasp of the concept, an understanding of the concept. Of some level of understanding. Yeah. There's a clear delineation.
Yeah, the understanding, at least the place that I'm at right now, it's about understanding the nature of God, the creator of the universe, and then dying to yourself in order to become that nature. It's easy, like I say, it's so easy for us to grasp the concept of the rules. It's not easy to understand and see the nature of the creator of the universe and then die to ourselves in order to become that, which will then bring about a totally different lifestyle and change your wants, desires, needs, all that stuff. What I'm saying here is I have found, it has been revealed to me something new about the nature of Christ that has been there all along, but I've seen it, I've read it, I've heard it, I've never understood it.
It's the living word.
Yeah. I mean, I am just, whatever of me is left is just a perpetual fool. Good night, son. It's oh, yeah. Good night. All right, let's take a little break.
You ready?
Yeah. All right, we're back from break. Let's see here.
Yep, back.
All right. The camera's still black on my
Well, give it a second.
on my thing here.
Yeah, we're back.
Can you YouTube?
That's Tech guy over there, Tech Junior.
YouTube. All right, we're back up. What are we on? Like a
Latency.
60-second lag or
There's a
something?
little latency but on YouTube. That's fine.
Good night. Back at you. Man, if only you guys could hear the conversations that go on during these breaks. I mean,
Probably did hear it.
you know, that's where do you mute them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. If only you guys, man. All right. We're back from the break. I'm gonna go in and address a few things here in a minute, but I got to show y'all this, man. Have you seen this?
I ain't seen it.
This. How many of these are there?
24 of them.
24.
Yeah.
24.
This is a
Exclusive.
knife called the Valor.
That's a knife, yes.
I've been
yes, sir.
I've been carrying this. Hold on, watch that. Watch this.
That's smooth.
Watch
ain't
this. Ball bearings.
it? On.
All right. Blake, you bought me one of these how long ago? A year probably.
Yeah, I think I got it for you for Christmas.
I've been carrying this Valor for a year. Now, mine looks different than this because this is a special edition. There's only 24 of these in existence. They are made one at a time by hand by Shea Butler. It is literally the best pocket knife that I have ever put my hands on. The craftsmanship in this blade is unbelievable. Hold on, watch this. That's right. There's 24 of these.
Ball bearing.
Look, man. Shea puts these things together. All this hardware is titanium, ain't it?
Yeah, he said a handful of them screws. He said he'll spend $2,000, and he said he can hold it in his hand.
Gosh.
That's the kind of quality we're talking about. We're talking about down to the dad bum screw. Okay? There's 24 of these.
Sharp as a razor, too.
Yeah.
Whoa, don't cut yourself.
Look at him.
And look,
Wait, what will you do that
That
for?
might even cut Chad's beard hair.
I guarantee you. Well, watch
That
this.
beard hair is tensile strength.
Watch this.
Good.
Look at that.
night.
All right.
We're going
Split
to
it.
auction that off.
All right. There it is. Now look here, man. This ain't something that you just wanna flippantly buy. All right. This thing right here is gonna last you the rest of your life if you don't lose it. Where can people get these, Blake?
We'll put the link in the show notes.
One of
but
the 24.
Yeah, it'll be on. You can go to Shea Butler Knives, his website, and they'll be listed on there. And so we'll put a link to that on the.
And it isn't there like a time frame until
Yeah, if you want it by Christmas, you have to order it by December 11th.
Okay.
And so if you order it before then, he's making them handmade.
He makes them when you order it, he's got all the materials. The blades are forged.
Yeah, everything's there. He's just working on them. So as you order them, he'll put them together and ship them out. And so December 11th is the cutoff.
Pretty cool.
And through Monday, then they're $100 off. So
Really?
and then after that, the price goes back to normal.
It's that Black Friday discount.
Black Friday, Black Knife.
Friday. Okay.
What do they call the Monday?
Y'all are the
Cyber
only,
Monday?
By the way, y'all are the first ones to know about this.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is
There's
true.
24 of them.
Oh.
If you want one, go get you one. If you don't,
Then don't.
I don't give a crap. I'm just telling you about it. Okay? Now look.
You better not.
The other thing that I wanted to address on here is many times I think when we have conversations about the state of the world, I think it affects some people in a negative way. And what I want to share with you guys is the reason that we can have the conversations that we have about the state of the world is because would you agree with the conclusion that there is no hope for humanity?
What do you mean by that?
Would you agree with the conclusion that there's no hope?
No, I don't agree. You
the
said that
world?
yesterday, but I don't agree with that. There's no hope for humanity.
Apart from Christ.
Okay, there.
Apart from
I
Christ.
would agree with that.
Okay.
I mean,
So apart from Christ, there's no saving. We
cannot save ourselves.
There's no long-term solution.
for the perpetual existence of life on Earth as it is.
Well, let's say for the United States of America.
You sure can't eternally save yourself. And
Do you think there's a long-term solution for the United States of America?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Chili. See, what y'all don't understand.
you ain't gonna ask Cornbread?
What do you think, Corn?
No, they ain't.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
See, when you come, we have come to the conclusion that there is no long-term solution. And so when you come to that conclusion, you can then talk about all the crap that's going on, and you ain't got to get mad about it. Because it's just fun conversation. So I want y'all to understand, when me and Chili get on here and we bring the knowledge down on what's going on in town, and y'all are impacted negatively by that, I just want you to know there is no hope.
That's the pride, man. That's why they get mad, because the pride. They're trying to
Aside
provide a
from
defense.
Christ. Aside from Christ.
You know, I'm proud. That song, "Proud to Be an American."
Yeah, don't sing it. We'll get copyrighted.
Yeah.
It's
I sound so much like him.
It's actually at times comical. Can you relate to this, Chili? You know, I think that there are people out there who think that there is some solution that's going to turn everything around and make things the way they should be
Yeah, maybe there is.
from
Maybe
now on.
Well, no, they don't care from now on. They just care about their lifetime.
Okay.
Because all Americans are selfish, and so they just care.
When I hear that, it is comical to me. All right? So we discuss the things we discuss on Truck Talks, on the podcast,
on the podcast.
on all that good stuff, because it's just fun. We ain't mad. We know this crap's going down the drain, man. We know that. Come on, man. Y'all don't think we know that?
I think, you know what? I actually just thought of something that I think would turn
Please
this
share.
around.
Please share.
If you ran for president,
That would the ultimate solution.
Look, don't give him. He's getting some more of himself.
well, that's
He's
what it
thinking-
is. I mean, we can just act like we're beating around the bush here, like there
If
ain't a
I ran
solution.
for president,
You ever heard the solution's right in front of you? Look, I'm looking at it. It's him, man. He gonna save the country.
I was going to start by running for governor.
Okay, well,
And you shut that down.
Just run for sheriff.
Because
well, that was when I was one of them naysayers. I mean, look.
yeah, I'm trying to be part of the solution, man.
Well, look.
And I was actually going to run for the governor of Georgia in this upcoming election
Work your way up.
because I was going to bring the solution that we needed, at least on a state level. And Chili said, Chili was opposed to it. And I said, look, Chili, when I get in there, man, we'll be able to make deals with people and we'll be able to get super rich.
He could never run for politics ever with so much out there.
Look, man, we're gonna get in on the ground level, and what we'll take all these evil people out.
Yeah, and we'll get rich in the process because we're going to be, look, somebody needs something done in Georgia. If you're the governor, you just say, hey, man, okay, give me a little cut.
About 5 stacks.
Yeah, give me a little cut. We'll make sure you get your permits. We'll make sure you get, you won't be bothered. You'll be able to build your factory. You'll be able to build your thing.
Dump all your pollution into the river if you want.
Dump your stuff into the Oostanala, the Coosa. It don't matter, okay? We'll turn a blind eye.
Pump it in the air.
Look, but you were opposed to that.
Well, like I said, man, it was back in my old ways. I was just a naysayer. I didn't think there was any hope, but now I'm on board. You're the man. You're the man.
So
for
you
the
think
job.
I'm the ultimate hope?
I think you got to get in there, get into the system. The system is all jacked up.
That's Alan. Alan's got to run for governor.
Alan Wright. What it needs is a good actor, like you, to just get in there, and you won't be swayed or affected by these evil people. You will change them, and you get in there, you work your way up. Bang.
He's so hard and calloused. Can you imagine if he were to get in there?
What you two? What do you guys think about this, man?
Well,
it sounds like a good campaign slogan.
the solution's
Didn't
right
it?
in front of you.
Chad Wright, the ultimate solution.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That sounds exactly like the final solution.
I mean,
Whoa.
screw
it's a
screw
little-
this make America great again stuff. We talking about Chad Wright, the ultimate solution,
Make
son.
Georgia great again.
We just slipped right into I've heard that slogan before. Oh my gosh. We call this the second right, boy.
He has been. One of our family members said, "You better watch out, Chad, about the Antichrist.
Oh my gosh.
Better
Well,
watch out for it."
implementing that ultimate solution. Holy crap. We done that. Everybody watching, you just watched an idea go from the, just put on the table initially and then just right off. We're going to scrap that idea.
Yeah.
That done went too far.
Well, we can change that slogan.
Yeah.
We can change that, but
Maybe build back stronger,
build back stronger. Nah, that's kind of weak.
build back harder.
I don't know. I don't like the build back type thing because if I got elected, nothing else would need to be built.
That's true.
It would just be done,
Yep.
right?
Chad Wright. It's done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we're going to go this route, I'm YouTube, do y'all want me to run for president? Okay. I see some people. Chad struggle. All right, if y'all want me to run for president, I've got to figure out who's going to be in my cabinet. Okay?
Your
Now-
cabinet.
Now, Chile already, look, if we go into political office, we getting rich. And
This is ridiculous.
If you're not going to let me make these deals, I'm going to put you somewhere else that don't have to do with my internal deal
Well,
making.
you know I'm going to be there because I got to count the money.
So, Blake,
That's secretary.
you're going to be Minister of Finance. All right? Blake's Minister of Finance.
What's corn going to be?
Well, that's what I'm thinking about.
Count me out.
First, where are we going to put Chili in the cabinet?
You can count me out.
Upper cabinet. Put him on the top
Put me
shelf.
on the top shelf.
Yeah.
No, man, you can count me out of politics, man.
Do you not want things to turn around?
No, I think I just said, man, the ultimate solution is you. But I'm out. Chili's out.
You got to serve your country, man.
No, I'm out. Sure don't.
Well,
Y'all let me know, you two, where do you want Chili in the cabinet? All right? And then Cornbread, I think I'm going to put you head of security, Bubba.
There you go. We'll do it.
So, Cornbread's going to be my head of security.
Corn's the most senior member here.
Yeah. That's,
You ain't the oldest one around no more.
dang, that's
I
true.
got you by 11 years, man.
Dang.
Did you ever think about that?
Well, that don't mean he can't be Minister of Security.
No, don't mean that.
What has this turned into, this discussion?
It's
We're putting together a plan here, Bubba.
All right. Well, it may not be wise to do that over the airwaves, you know. It might mess up your solution.
Well, I ain't trying to hide nothing.
Well, you know, this stuff, public don't need to be privy to everything that goes on behind the scenes in government, you know.
It could definitely mess our deal making up.
Oh yeah, I'm just what I'm thinking about. The deal making could be hindered by too much information being out there. You see what I'm saying?
All right, Chili. I just came up with your title in my cabinet.
All right.
Minister of Intelligence. All right.
All right.
So the whole cabinet's formed. We've got the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Intelligence, and the Minister of Security. All right? I'm going to put my paperwork in. If you guys are here in Georgia,
Who's your running mate?
running mate.
Yeah,
I don't need no
vice
mate.
president.
he don't need a mate.
Why are you going to have a vice anything when you're the ultimate solution?
Well, they make you run with one when you fill out your paperwork.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Got to have a backup, man.
Chili can pack them orders, send out T-shirts for campaigning, you know.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, you
Think
need to-
about that.
Yeah, you need to get working on designing these campaign signs and stuff.
A vote for Chad shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, that needs to come down the pipe. So, I know all of you guys out there, you're looking for things to turn around. You're looking for leadership. You're looking for somebody to come in and get this country back up on its feet so that we can live free. I'm your man. All right?
That's what there's the shirt. It says Chad Rite 2024. No running mate. I'm your man.
I'm your man. We don't need a secondary. I've got a good head. I've got a good minister of security over here. Ain't nothing going to happen. I'm your man. So y'all get your minds right. Get your voting pencil out because y'all know voting matters. Y'all know your vote counts, okay? The only way I'm going to get into office is if y'all vote.
And mail them in.
Start mailing them in now.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only way I'm going to get into office is if y'all get out and flood the polls, man. Okay? Because there ain't, you know, there's nothing else matters except for your votes. Your votes count.
Well, Blake's got to file the paperwork to get you on the ballots.
He's already working on that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's doing over there right now. Look at him.
It's up. It's up. I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
All 50
in.
states?
Yeah.
Hold on. Are we running for Georgia governor or are we running for president?
I thought you were running for president.
I'll do whichever one y'all want.
That's what
There's
I
a couple
thought,
states
president.
he ain't going to be president of. So we're going to do about 48.
Well, that's one of the first things I'm going to do when I get in there is I'm cutting some states out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them may
Mike?
secede on their own, so.
I think that needs to be. You got to say that up front.
What's that?
What state you cutting out?
Well, he might need their vote, so maybe he'll let them vote and then cut them out.
Yeah, I got to wait till all the votes come in. We're going to cut states out based off of the voting
Hey,
results.
look,
You may gain votes, though, also by the ones you were cutting out.
I've got a couple
There's a lot of California haters.
through our intelligence. I've got a couple areas we're just gonna, knock down some walls, and I got some voters on the way for you.
Okay.
So you don't worry about the states and, are you a citizen? Did you vote? Did you do your duty? We got people doing the duty that ain't even part of this thing, but that's all right.
Okay.
So that's what you need to know is the polls will be flooded through the holes in the walls,
Okay. All right.
if you know what I mean.
I like that. See, we let you guys on the 307 podcast, we let you guys in on the real stuff. All right. Can y'all think of any other podcast who's going to have this discussion live on the air? We want you guys, we want to be open and transparent with you
we care
guys.
about you.
If y'all going to put me in charge, I'm going to be transparent with you. Y'all going to know how we got to that point, okay? It's going to be by way of your vote, okay? So, I'm glad that's cleared up. We've determined the way forward. Chili, what I need now is a vision board, okay?
All right.
I need a vision board so that we can put this on the board and I can manifest it.
All right.
That's the very next thing I need.
I'll make it.
All right. So, everybody else, get out the way. You've been wanting your solution. I'm offering up my time and my energy to bring the solution that you've all been looking for. Vote for me. You don't even have a choice.
That's the slogan.
Holy crap. Oh, my God. Chad Wright, 2024. Through the rest of time, you don't even have a choice.
Through infinity.
Well, I wanted to open up to any of you guys that have any questions on YouTube while we've got you on here.
While you do, we had a few super chats come in.
Okay, so you guys send your questions in if you got any. Blake's going to go over the super chats while y'all sending questions in. Huh?
Had Eric Logan gave $10.
Eric, thank you,
Sent
brother.
that heart emoji.
We'll put that in toward our campaign funds.
Thanks. Travis Van Ness coming in at $20 again.
Travis,
like he does
come
every
on, man.
Wednesday.
You been seeing any deer, Travis?
He said, "Let me tell y'all a story about Travis who killed his old self this summer in the waters of Rainbow Lake, baptized and trying to pick up the cross daily."
That's what I'm talking about, man.
Marty Bingham gave $20. He said, "I'm training with y'all in January at the Proving Ground."
Marty coming to the proving grounds.
He said, "Will an old man, stiff-legged stumble pass for a PT?"
Oh, yeah, 100%.
We do that stiff-leg stumble.
Oh, yeah.
Daily.
Don't worry. Marty, don't worry. Everybody going to be stiff-legged by Sunday. You won't be the only stiff-legged one there.
We just got Stephen Adario coming in at $20.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Stephen.
They got
Unbelievable.
they got that order headed your way, Steve. I seen them in the dungeon.
It's true.
So
Sure do.
All right.
let's see here what we got. You monitoring this, Chad?
I'm looking for some daggone questions, man. I don't see nothing.
When
You
Hugo
know,
Stiglitz was on here earlier, he usually comes in with some questions. Yeah.
Poop Deck Poppy said he got baptized in a hospital while he had sepsis. That's a good time to get baptized. That sepsis is rough, son. Jonathan asked, Chili, this is a question for you. How about 20% off of Thanksgiving so we can buy some merchandise?
No,
20% off of Thanksgiving. I tell you what, we'll give you 20% off Thanksgiving. Go get it.
One thing y'all might not know about me around here is one of the first things I'm going to do when I get elected is we are getting rid of these stinking holidays. There ain't going to be another holiday on the dang books.
Tell 'em.
Thanksgiving's going. Easter's gone. 4th of July's gone. All of that crap is gone. We don't celebrate for holidays around here. They're all made up stuff, man. Thanksgiving. Well, you're coming over here celebrating a dinner with a Native American and then you killed them all? What kind of holiday is that? You sit down and ate a turkey with them, then you gave them a blanket full of the flu and killed them.
And then you ask your kids to color a picture of some little smiling Native American. You know, I mean, come on. But look.
Well,
Look, listen. This person asks, Always Ultra, do you have to be a person of faith to partake in your ruck course?
Negative.
That's a good question.
That's a darn good question. We take all types. All right? If you want to come out and train, come on out and train, man. You do not.
Yep.
You don't have to be a follower of Christ to come out and train with us.
We got another one here, Jekaret. He says, how do the hoodies fit? I want to get some for my brother's Christmas. I would say to order a size. I mean, generally I'm a medium.
yeah.
But after you dry that unit,
Yeah.
it might draw up just a hair. So, I mean, and I
Well-
like hoodies a little bigger because you got clothes on under them.
Well, yeah, that's what I would say. If you wear a medium T-shirt, most people like a little bit bigger of a hoodie. But also, there is a size chart on the website. There's a link.
You've put the size chart on
Well, for the hoodies, I have.
there. Okay.
For the hoodies, you can click the link, size chart, takes it to the brand of the hoodie that we screen printed on, everything. However, the reason there ain't never been a size chart on there is because if you've ever read a size chart, they don't do you no good. They just tell you the measurements in your chest and whatever, and you're supposed to go get a measuring tape and wrap it around you. It really don't do much good. But there is a size chart for everybody who got mad that there wasn't one. So there is one for the hoodies, but it probably ain't going to do you no good. So if you wear a medium T-shirt, probably get a large. Or you might want a medium hoodie if you like them tight.
Yeah, look here. What's this feller's name?
Jekaret.
Jekaret. Hey, look here, Bubba. I'm 165 pounds of pure daggone muscle, 6 foot tall, 72 inches measured by the government many times. I prefer an extra large hoodie.
And you wear a large T-shirt.
No,
Generally.
I'm supposed to wear a large T-shirt, but I prefer an extra large T-shirt.
Well, you like them to be a dress.
Yeah. That extra large hoodie fits me just right. Okay.
And good question, Jekaret.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Ron Thompson said, since suppressors are legal, will I fix the 9-month waiting period when I'm elected president? Yeah. Yes, sir. Let me tell you right now. Look.
9 months. You'd be
Yeah.
lucky to
Try
get it
about a
9.
year. Look. When somebody asks you to explain to them the meaning of shall not be infringed, just tell them, shall not be infringed. When y'all elect me, you're going to be able to have whatever armament and weapons that you want, man. I don't care. I don't care if you're a felon. I don't care who you are. Everybody's going to have equal rights to keep and bear arms.
We got Keenan Greer here. He gave $10. He said, y'all got me running. Ran my first half marathon a few weeks ago. Lost 25 pounds. He ain't all right
awesome.
with being a turd. And by the way, how did Chili get his name? We have to talk about that later.
That's outstanding. Keenan.
Yeah, that is great.
Good work, man.
We had, let's see,
Awesome.
Trader Joe. He said 8 days sober from alcohol. First time doing that in 14 years. Any tips on staying strong?
Dang, man. You got anything, Corn?
I'm gonna tell you just real quick a story. When I got sober, and it's been a little over 3 years ago, and it was kicking my tail. And I got to day 47, and I remembered when I was policing, there was a guy we called Lizard Leg. He'd always been around Dallas, and Lizard Leg would come in to QT at night when we'd take breaks. And Lizard Leg had been on meth ever since I was a little kid around Dallas. Lizard Leg did meth. And Lizard Leg had been sober about 10 years. And I asked him one night, I said, well, you did meth all those years. When did it ever get better? And he said, when I quit counting the days. So on day 40, it's 47, 48, 49, I quit counting the days, and it got better some. It got, and I think because I was associating every day that I woke up to that last time I drank. And I really believe that's what it was.
It's all you thought about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last time I had a drink was 47 days ago.
Man.
Yeah. Never thought I'd make it 47 days. So anytime anybody asks me that, give that a shot.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good word. That's a good word, man. That's a good word. All right, guys. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Somebody also said that I could run for England's leader too. Yes, that would be my goal. If you elect me as president of the United States, I will eventually be president of the whole world.
Yeah, you may as well annex Canada and Mexico.
Yeah.
Year one.
Yeah, we're
Year
going
one.
we're going worldwide.
If you touch us, you coming. Year one.
Yep.
You see that last super chat?
Yeah, Stephen Jr.
What about that?
Stephen Jr. He said watch out for that sneaky snake.
Oops, I did it again.
Hold on. Oh, Steve said that.
Yeah, Steve Jr.
Yeah.
You see that?
Oh yeah, I see it. Sneaky snake. Yeah, y'all. Some of y'all know what he's talking about. Most of y'all don't though. Rent collector also wanted me to take over Canada, so everybody's on board with this. Yeah, we're going worldwide, guys.
Pack your stuff, Trudeau.
Yep, we're going worldwide. Put your votes in. Thank you, Chad, world leader. Thank you. Yes, I will sacrifice my time and efforts in order to bring you freedom.
Lord C.
Lord C. The Cardinal coming at you. Nuff said.